Hey there, guys. It's Octavian here, and this is going to be 100cast episode 56. We're getting really far into this series, aren't we? I've had a ton of fun with it so far. I'm sure I'm going to keep having lots more fun, and I hope you guys have been enjoying it. This one, I believe, is about a mid-gold level game, perhaps somewhere in lower gold. I'm not sure. I would have to look it up, but somewhere in about the middle of the skill bar rating there. If you see, bronze is the lowest and challenger is the highest. Gold is just smack dab right in the middle of everything. And it should be a fairly interesting game to watch, so let's get right on into it. Let's start with some of the matchups. Down in bottom lane, it's going to be a Corki and a Karma facing off against an Urgot and a Soraka. Now, Urgot Soraka used to be one of the strangest bottom lanes that somehow sort of worked back before Soraka's rework, and I would play it sometimes with a few of my friends. This is getting to a little bit of a personal anecdote, which I try to avoid in my casting, but I don't have anything else to draw on for this particular lane combo, so I'm gonna have to go this direction. Back when Soraka could use her E to give allies mana, Urgot Soraka was actually quite a powerful lane, because Urgot can spam out his Q on a really low cooldown. Soraka could keep giving him mana, and he could just keep spamming out that Q, and if you've got good aim, you could do quite a bit of work that way. And the thing is, ever since Soraka's rework, I have absolutely no clue how this lane is going to work. Now obviously, Urgot has one of the shortest ranged auto attacks in the game of all ranged champions, so that's going to factor hugely into this, as First Blood actually goes down up in top lane, going over to Olaf. I was going to get into that lane matchup at some point in the future, but I guess I'll get into it right now. It is going to be an incredibly swingy matchup up there in the top lane, because those Seg and C10101 are going in a little bit of a duel here. They burn each other down to about a third of hit points each, and that is the thing with the lower level games. I've been casting so much Challenger and Master Action that I forgot these games are bloodthirsty. There is going to be a lot of kills happening and a lot of action happening all over the map, so I am going to have to put my play-by-play pants on and get really quick fire with some of the casting here, most likely, if the game goes according to the form that a lot of the lower levels games can go to. Up in the top lane, Zero and Mr. Steal Your Penta going for another 1v1. Mr. Steal Your Penta going to get the better of his Olaf counterpart that time, and the kill is going to be traded back. So 2 kills on the board right now, both of them up in top lane, and 1 kill for each team. So the top lane sort of resets itself with that. Olaf could have taken that first blood advantage and really snowballed it into something, but he decided to stick around in the lane a little bit too long, and because his counterpart Tryndamere did have teleport, whoa, Toka Loco going to the mid lane again. That guy really likes hanging around in the mid lane, as we can see right there, and Clicker's getting burned down really low from the Karma damage. That is one thing that the Corki Karma combo is going to have, and I was going to get into that earlier, but so much action, is they do have the ability to poke a lot. They have the poke in their favor quite heavily. I mean, Soraka, her Q is pretty powerful for poking, but she's run herself pretty much out of mana here, and Karma's Q, I would have to say, is a little bit more powerful, especially if she can land the empowered shot. Oh, Clicker does get the Seeking Missiles on to Corki there. Does a bit of damage, but he's also out of mana, so this is the problem with these two champions down in the bottom lane. They both run out of mana in the early game pretty quickly, so Mortifago going in right onto Clicker. That is an interesting name that Karma has there, but he's getting taken down very quickly. The heal is popped, but the Phosphorus Bomb didn't land. Just short. Didn't quite predict the speed of that running enemy crab got quite well enough, and so Corki's Q doesn't connect, and he doesn't actually get the first kill of the bottom lane. So, some trading going on in the mid lane between Sage and C101 again. These guys really like to duel it out. He's going to be dashing in, bringing Sage down pretty low. The Playful Trickster actually lands on the very edge of it. The Ignite has been dropped, and his passive is burning as well. That is going to be a Kali giving the kill up over to Fizz. In the battle of the Title Trickster versus the Shadow something or other, I forget what Akali's title is. It goes over to the Title Trickster, but there is the flash away from Mortifago. I don't know if it's going to be enough to save his life. He gets taunted back anyways. Some good damage coming out from Bada Bomb, but he gets slowed up by the empowered Soul Flare, so forced to back away right there. And Karma is a very tricky champion to gank. Even if you're somebody who's as good at ganking a lane as Rammus can be, Karma can be a tricky one. Ooh, 0-0 coming under the tower for 2 tower hits in a row right there, actually. The lane was going pretty solidly in his favor, but a little bit of mispositioning, and suddenly the health bars are just about even between him and Tryndamere. And I mean, with the health bars being even, that means the lane is very much in favor of Tryndamere because he's got a 8 or 9 CS lead here. And really, he should not be getting that this early on in the game. And he's going to be going right in on 0-0. He's hit the level 6 before Olaf has had a chance to. And that is Mr. Steelio Penta, 75, picking up his 2nd kill of the game. And that is a very, very bad sign for Red Team. You do not want to get the enemy Tryndamere rolling that early on into the game. It can have dire consequences as the game wears on. So that'll be a lane to keep an eye on. Though they do have some hyper carries of their own, or should I say hyper carry. If this Akali can keep on doing some good work in the mid lane, she had a bit of a slip up, dying in the 1v1 to Fizz, but still has a CS advantage and is pushing up onto the tower to continue that advantage. So not really down and out yet, just got a just one single punch landed, not down for the count quite yet. Mantra used, and the Q flies out, but it doesn't quite land on anybody. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Bada Bum is coming in for a 2nd gank of the game. He's waiting around in the Powerball outside of the Shroud. They're just waiting for this Akali to leap out, and there she is. There's the Fizz ult going to be landing. Shum the Waters knocks her up. The Chilling Smite just for good measure, and C100101 gets his 2nd kill of the game, 2-0-0. And I mean, getting a Fizz rolling can be equally as powerful as getting a Tryndamere rolling, so they have 2 ways into this game, and Fizz is looking to get a 2nd kill here. Toco Loco forced to flash under the tower. Underestimated the damage that C100101 could put out in that lane, and I love that name. I'm having so much fun saying C100101. I just want things to happen in the mid lane just so I can talk about the Fizz's name. I really enjoy that one. I don't know why, it's got a nice rhythm to it when you say it quickly. C100101. Anyways, that's a little bit beside the point here. If the point is right there, then that's beside it. As the Phosphorus Bomb lands on the Clicker, however, he does have a lot of sustain, and that is something which is in favor of the Soraka Urgot. But it's battle of the right clicks up in the top lane. Who can right click who more? Mr. Steal Your Penta, of course, being immune to death, flashes forward. The Ignite has been turned around to drop onto him. Mr. Steal Your Penta is the killing spree. And then he gives up the kill post-mortem to Olaf for the shutdown gold. And that's going to help him come back into this lane quite a bit because he was falling behind. He's still down a kill and he's still down 10 CS, but he is not out for the count, as I have said before. Small golden lead going over the side of blue team so far, about 1,500 or so total. As the bottom lane has actually seemed to swing over in favor of Clicker and William, which is not really something I expected. They both seem to be perpetually out of mana, yet still the pressure is somehow being laid on to the other side. Possibly just some mispositioning from red team, but in the mid lane, Sage and C100101 again going at it. There's the pink ward. C100101 knows exactly how to fight this, but she stepped right into the Chum the Waters, even though it didn't connect. Sage walked into it and so couldn't finish off the kill, and C100101 is on a killing spree in the mid lane there. And Toco Loco coming to the bot lane for a gank, but a little bit prematurely, I'd have to say. Doesn't quite have the Vi ulti yet, so really not able to make that sort of lane gank happen quite yet. Probably want to go back into her jungle and farm up a little bit before coming back to the bottom lane, if that is indeed where this Vi wants to make some sort of play happen. Speaking of the bottom lane, Rammus is down there as well. He's roaming through, just getting some vision control. He kind of walked right past a whole wave of minions, so obviously they realize that he's in a ganking position, so they're going to go ahead and back up. But he got some pressure down there. He sort of countered out the pressure that Vi was trying to lay down, trying to help out the Corki and Karma, since they are starting to fall behind here in this matchup, despite the fact that Urgot is a little bit of an uncommon pick. That's something I did want to talk about quite a bit here, but so much action might actually have a little bit more of it. Mozart of Elise going in and just landing an auto attack or two onto the Urgot. As Mr. Steal Your Penta, this top lane, I mean, I have no idea where to call it. I don't know why, but I would think that at this point the Tryndamere would not be afraid at all, but he seems to be playing scared. Meanwhile, down in bottom lane, though, Toco Loco is level 6 now, has Akali around to help out, so William V is going to be falling to the damage from Sage, roaming from the mid lane. Fizz following, but going to be a little bit late here. Unless red team chooses to stick around and go for some sort of tower dive, then Fizz having roamed down could actually prove instrumental. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Tryndamere and Olaf are still kind of going at it. Tryndamere going to be dashing right in onto Olaf, slows him with the mocking shout. There's Olaf's ulti pop, though, just to remove the single slow, just so he can run away from this massive Tryndamere, who's already finished off a static shiv. That is a terrifying power spike that he's got. He's going to be able to sustain up through this lane as well, because he's the one able to right-click on minions right now. Both of these champions very good at sustaining through attacking the enemy minions. But the fact that Mr. Steeliopenta's, I mean, also on top of that, he just got hit up by the Soraka ult, so there's that. But the fact that he was the one able to attack the minions more means that he's the one who's going to get more health, and that's what I meant by the lane being really snowbally, because whoever gets a lead is going to be able to pressure that lead more and more, and go for tower dives like this one. Mr. Steeliopenta, however, his ult is just about to run out, and Zero turns around with the reckless swing, picking up the kill for Olaf. And if you bite off a bit more than you can chew, even if you've got quite a bit of chewing potential, there is still a bit of potential for cockiness there. Sage now getting engaged on by C10101. There's Leech on the water landing. Oh, the burn from the W passive is just enough to secure the kill for Fizz while he's at about 10 health. That was the closest duel we have seen this game. Meanwhile, Mortarflag Glue, I don't even know. Morta, I don't know, is in the enemy jungle, trying to get some vision, but gets caught out by Badabomb. Has some backup in the form of Toko Loco, though, so probably going to be able to get the vision that he so desires. Yeah, getting some good deep wards in the enemy jungle, and that is a really good way to play against a Rammus. Rammus has the potential to come zooming into your lane, so a ward close to your lane probably not actually going to help you that much, because he's just going to run right past it, way too quick for you to respond anyways. But William V and Clicker are in a lot of trouble. Toko Loco, Assault and Battery right onto Clicker. There's the snare going to be landing as well. Chilling Smite just for good measure, as Urgot actually burns his flash, trying to escape, but he was already dead, so just kind of wastes the cooldown there. It's unfortunate sometimes you panic and hit the buttons, even though the buttons aren't going to be helping you anymore, even though you're beyond the help of buttons. C10101 here is going to be saving William V from an inevitable fate. Most of Elise just barely survives the burn by casting his heal just at the very end of his life bar. Now Surge is running back to his invisibility. He's going to be able to escape here, actually. Unless C10101 wants to continue on the chase. He actually dashes to the crab just to gain some distance. Good use of the surrounding jungle monsters. That is something which is sort of a little hidden bonus for some champions with the addition of the crab, as Zero is forced to flash away from Mr. Steeliopenta. I mean, basically, whenever we look top lane, we can just assume that these two players are going to be right-clicking on each other. That's pretty much how this lane is going to work. They right-click on one another, and they occasionally cast the E spell. And then when the fights get really serious, they cast the R spell. So, I mean, it's Tryndamere versus Olaf. It's not incredibly mechanically interesting, but in terms of how the matchup works, it is actually somewhat interesting, as we see Mr. Steeliopenta going under the tower, flashing forward. The Ignite is dropped into him, though. He might not be able to survive this, especially considering that Sage is around. He gets the kill back in revenge, and that's actually probably exactly where they wanted it, because as I was saying, Akali is their sort of late game carry on the side of Red Team. And so they really need to give her some gold at this point, because Tryndamere is certainly getting enough for himself. And Fizz doing even better, doesn't have the 4 deaths to his name, as well as the 4 kills. Tryndamere's been playing a lot more aggressive, whereas Fizz has just been making some decent picks and capitalizing on opportunity. Badabum going to be rolling away. Actually, Sage dashes into him to stop the roll, and he dashes in again. The Ignite has been dropped. He's going for this kill. He's trying to bring down the Rammus. The Ignite is burning, and the Q flies out just to finish off the kill. But C10101, again, capitalizing on that opportunity, just drops the Ignite. There is no escape from the F key or the D key, I guess. But, I mean, come on, man. You gotta have F for Ignite. That just makes too much sense. Fignite, right there. That's how you spell it. You didn't know that? There's a silent F in front. Anyways, Karma, with the name that I'm not going to try and butcher once again, is down in the bottom lane. Has Corki actually roaming off by himself through the jungle. Not entirely sure why that is. Maybe he's just so very afraid, rather, and combined afraid and scared, but so very afraid of the Urgot in the mid lane that he's chosen to go and farm the jungle while he waits for the minion wave to push up. I'm really not sure entirely why the lane went this way. I mean, Urgot is not a too common champion, so perhaps it's just unfamiliarity with the matchup that has caused this Corki to fall out of favor, but there is the flash away from Toko Loco, the red buff, and the W are both burning, and C10101 is dominating. Beautifully done. Now he's going to be going after his next victim. However, Sage might turn out to be the hunter rather than the hunted. Shut down! And Kali picks up quite a nice bucket of gold for herself. Meanwhile, Clicker is getting exhausted, and most of his elites is no longer afraid. There's the Soraka ulti, though, giving quite a bit of health back to the Urgot, and maybe he should have been playing afraid. Mortifago has to flash away as Clicker continues chasing after most of Elise. And, yeah, that's a flash burned. I don't think there were any summoners burned on the side of Urgot and Soraka. No summoners, just the Soraka ulti and the Urgot ulti, actually, hyperkinetic. Position reverser being used as well, one of the best names for an ulti in the game, but Mr. Celia Penta and Surfer Zero both right-clicking each other again, and Olaf wins the right-click duel. Just barely, it was close, but he did indeed win it. I would actually have to say that most likely he won it due to the fact that he's gone with Ninja Tabby, which is a wonderful item choice in the current lane that he's going up against, because Tryndamere has two ways of damaging you. Auto attacks and spinning slash, and so basically it's removing 10% of the damage from half, or more like 80 or 90% of the way that Tryndamere damages you, because Spinning Slash is not used nearly as often as simply right-clicking on an enemy and critically hitting them. Now, here comes Akali, going to be dashing in onto Clicker as well as William V. The heal is popped since they did not have to use any of their summoners before, but Sage is going to go under the tower and get the double kill anyways. However, C1101 has followed the Roman, instantly deletes the Akali, still has Chum the Waters to land onto this Corki, and the double buff as well to slow him up. Mr. Steliopenta is here to steal the double kill. And Mortifago is going under the tower, being burned up by the red buff, and the Fizz passive. Mr. Steliopenta does not care about damage right now. He's going to dash away from the tower to survive with about 50 health. So that's the Tryndamere we know and love, isn't it? Badabum and Mr. Steliopenta. Whoa! The dragon nearly bringing Tryndamere down. That was a bit of a hairy situation. He might actually be in some trouble here. It's turning around to focus onto him. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive this next attack. Oh, he just about heals himself with his Q. So it's the epic dragon battle for the ages right there. I'm going to go ahead and take the crab right afterwards because free vision is always quite nice. Actually, the crab is one of my favorite preseason additions to this game. I absolutely love the very concept behind it of being able to get vision that is entirely uncontestable. Pink wards, of course, the enemy team can kill those pretty easily. They see them by default, as Sage is doing right now. Actually, he's going to be flashing onto C1101 instead of going for the pink ward. He wants the kill. He doesn't want the ward. He brings down the Fizz, but then he gets taunted back by Badabum Elite, who brings him down in response. Now he's going to be flashing away. Toco Loco still charging after him, but he has absolutely no mana to work with. So he's just going to kind of walk at him for a long time before being forced to turn around. Soraka ult just kind of as a kick in the face right there to the Vi. Can't catch him, and also even if you did catch him, you couldn't have killed him. So really, the worst of both worlds for Vi. This is not Miley Cyrus. She got the worst of both worlds. William V. Tossing out the Star Call, doesn't actually land on anything but the minions, and we have a little bit of a quieter moment for once on the map here. These mid to lower level games can often be very, very violent and bloodthirsty, which is something I both love and also am a bit frustrated by sometimes, because there's interesting things that are happening that aren't just the combat, and sometimes I want to talk about the interesting things, but I digress. It looks like we have more combat going on. Clicker is going to be landing the slow onto Mortifago, while the shield is up, by the way, for Urgot. Auto attacks and Qs both slow anyone who is hit by them, so he does have some CC. It's a bit of an it's a very odd champion design, but Sage is going to pretty much non-committally take down the Soraka. There's not much that a Soraka can do against an Akali when Akali's in a position to be able to get next to her, especially if that Akali already has a Lich Bane completed. So this game, at this point in time, where the kill score is 14 and 14, the turrets are 1 and 2, I would have to say that it is incredibly even right now, because there is a hyper carry or two on both sides, and the hyper carries are all decently fed. None of them are absolutely crushing, but they're decently fed as Sage is actually hit by the Chum. The Water is going to be turning around to C1101 though, and the Ignite tick after he flashes away going to be enough damage to bring him down, but Sage will pay for his hubris in taking on a 3v1 fight and go down to the Rammus, who's kind of the unsung hero of this game so far. He's 2-1 and 2, has been playing pretty consistently, not been dying, which is the main thing. And Clicker actually going for the 2v2 down here, going to hyperkinetic position, reverse her most of Elise under the tower, and mid-Valkyrie gets interrupted by the knockup from the Rammus. Well done. As I said, playing consistently. This Rammus has been doing quite a good job of just being in the right place at the right time. So, well done by him, as Olaf has actually finished off that's a Frozen Mallet in his inventory right there. Interesting first item rush sort of build. Did not expect to see that, but it does make him very, very difficult to escape, because there's no way to CC him, and now with every auto attack he's going to be slowing you as well as with Undertows. But we might have a engage down here. Tokoloco going to be flashing onto Clicker, but he doesn't have any CC to follow up with after the flash, so Clicker's just going to get healed to oblivion and back by Soraka, as Zerva0, rather, brings down C1001 in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Badabum brings him down right afterwards, and Clicker is being chased upon by this Akali here, dashes forward under the tower. The ninja really wants to bring down the unicorn lady, but turns out she's not going to be able to go quite that far into the tower. The pool of silence was enough to save William V's life, just barely. Surge might actually be able to get this, though. He's roaming around behind the tower now. Rammus is there to dissuade the Akali from going any further, and so Soraka is going to be able to escape with just a tiny sliver of her health pool left. Meanwhile, Mozet of Elise, I was calling it Most of Elise, but Mozet of Elise and Mortifago are both pushing in onto the bottom tower, and that's going to be the third tower of the game going over to them. Actually, no, Badabum taunts Mozet of Elise, and okay, he finally gets it after the taunt ends, and now Badabum might be in a bit of trouble. He's trying to finish off the kill onto Corki here. He has enough damage that if he can just get next to him, he's going to be able to bring him down. The taunt at the last second just kind of gives Corki what he wanted to do anyways. And so just barely he's going to be able to get the kill. Meanwhile, Mr. Stelia Penta is trying to teleport away. They don't have any CC to stop this. They need to outdamage him. There we go. They kill him just as the ult ends and just before the teleport goes through. But C1001 was waiting, lying in wait around the corner. He knew that Tokoloco wanted this red buff, and he's going to be taking him down for it. Now he dashes back through Zerva0, but Zerva0's Frozen Mallet is serving him well. Flash over the wall to follow after the Fizz tosses out the Undertow, lands the slow. If he can just get next to him and have even more slows to land, and there is no way that Fizz can get away from this. Olaf, the Berserker, is just too sticky right now. Whew. So much action all over the place. Whew. Honestly, my throat's starting to hurt a little bit. But I've still got a good bit longer to go in this game, so let's keep on going with this one, shall we? Let's keep on trucking here. There's a few items that I would like to make honorable mention of at this point, since they are going to be very, very important. Strindomir, who has the highest CS on the map, has managed to finish off not only the static shiv that I mentioned earlier as being a big power spike, but also a Blade of the Ruined King. Now that is probably where I would have wanted to see Olaf go rather than the Frozen Mallet. But he decided, hey, I really want to stick to people, so I'm going to get both. And Olaf has gone with the Frozen Mallet and a Blade of the Ruined King, so he's going to have slows on every auto attack as well as an active slow that also speeds him up. If he manages to stick to someone, they are not going to escape, and that actually could be really bad news for Urgot. Urgot already is a fairly immobile guy. He doesn't have very many ways of getting away from Zerva0, but up in the top lane, it is Battle of the Right Clicks once again. We are here for a rematch, ladies and gentlemen, the double Blade of the Ruined King at the same time. And Mr. Stelia Penta and Zerva0 both just walk away from each other. It turns out it's a tie. They both pop their ultis as well, yeah. So, a perfect tie up in the top lane is Mortifago. Gonna be going down to the damage from C1001's Shark coming up appropriately from the river, though. Like, sometimes you can just bring that up, like, even in the enemy base and stuff. It doesn't make any sense at all. Riot Games, please, how does that happen? That's my main concern with this game right now. You've got to fix that. You've got to make it so that Fizz's ult can't come out while somebody is standing in a place that isn't covered in water. Not because I think Fizz is unbalanced or anything, no. No, it's for the story. It's for the lore, that's why. Yeah. Anyways, Badabum going to be going forward and landing the taunt on the Mozet of Elise, but maybe he didn't really want to go into this situation. Here's Clicker going to be using the hyperkinetic position reverser just to kind of get past the Vi. Doesn't really go for some sort of engage there. It was more of a mobility tool, which is weird. I have never seen that happen with Urgot before. I'm not sure if he meant to engage and then realized it wasn't a good time to, but Sage is getting taunted up in her own Twilight Shroud. True damage from Zerva0 breaks right on through all that armor. And he's on a killing spree, roaming out of the top lane, finally, to come down here and help his team out, push in onto the secondary middle lane turret. And the turret lead is, and always has been, with Red Team. It's been their one real sticking point this game, and it might very well continue to snowball onwards and give them the match here. We're still fairly even in terms of gold, a few thousand in favor of blue, actually, seeing as they have been able to out-farm the enemy in pretty much every circumstance. Actually, every circumstance except for jungle and, I guess, support, though that's not all that huge of a deal. As Mr. Stelio Penta is going to be stealing away a Krug camp as well, and it is, once again, a rematch. Battle of the right clicks. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Who is going to win? Who can right-click harder? Mr. Stelio Penta is going to be dashing forward on the Server Zero. Flash for it as well. And it turns out that Tryndamere can sword better than Olaf can axe, but Toco Loco and Sage are both there for the revenge. Sage actually didn't even get the assist on that. Toco Loco burst him down before Akali could get any of the credit, so that's actually kind of annoying for Akali there. Lots of time spent roaming up, but then Toco Loco, this is a little bit of deja vu. Gets a kill in the top lane, roams into a Fizz in the jungle right near the top lane. I wonder when that happened. Like, what, 5 minutes ago? Maybe in 5 minutes we'll be seeing Mr. Stelio Penta back up in the top lane once again, and C10101 sitting in a bush nearby. It seems to be the strategy that's preferred by these two. I don't know if they're like coordinating that, or if it's just like Fizz taking advantage of the fact that Tryndamere is going to sit top lane and push minions all day long, all the time, because that's what Tryndamere does. He is a very, very potent split push. Ooh, they know they're in the jungle this time, though. And the jig is up. William be forced to flash away. C10101 running as well. Taz is back to Chum the Waters just to try and gain some distance, and it does actually knock up two of them. Goes over the wall, and Sage really wants to keep on chasing this. Maybe it wasn't the best idea, though. Gets burned down pretty quickly by Clicker. He's doing a lot of damage at this point. The Muramana has transformed into a Manamune, and he's also got a Brutalizer in there as well, so that's actually a lot of damage, as you see right there. Mortifago going away. Urgot is no longer pleased with the existence of Karma and has decided to delete her from the map. So she is gone now. C10101 wants to do the same to Corki, but Valkyrie is going to be proved too difficult of a tool to chase through. The rocket actually gets flashed away from, and C10101 forced to burn the flash after too ambitious of a dive. There's the Soraka ult, though, going to be keeping him alive through the aggression from Akali. Perhaps the aggression from Toco Loco here as well. Flashing forward right next to C10101, going in with the ulti as well. Should have kind of just probably gone into the ulti and then flashed to get away, but shouldn't really have gone in anyways because it was a 4v1 situation. Now Server Zero dashing under the tower to try and chase in onto the Corki here. Does have Undying Rage pop. Server Zero, though, is going very, very low. Flash forward. There's the Blazer Rune King to keep him safe, though. Nobody is dying. Finally, Corki falls over out of his airship, and Clicker breaks down and spews his guts everywhere. That was disgusting. Now Badaboom is being chased by Karma. I don't know if Karma really wants this fight, though. Badaboom has been doing quite well this game, and he has a Thornmail and double buffs right now. He's actually doing quite a bit of damage. Rammus can be surprisingly damaging. Gonna be taunting back, and taunt actually breaks someone's armor as well, and when you use defensive ball curl, you get a ton of AD from all the armor that you gain. So Rammus, while taunting you with defensive ball curl up, if you're squishy, can actually melt you pretty dang fast. So not really a fight that you want to take as a solo support, but perhaps Sage can take this fight. Badaboom takes away the Gromp camp, and then immediately pays for his, well, I can't really call it a steal since he paid for it, but then right after that, C10101 finds Akali and takes her down. So it is a series of catches and ending in Fizz getting one for himself. As we go back to a little bit of a quieter moment on the map here. Though Toco Loco actually might want to try and prove me wrong, chasing after William V through the jungle. Does he not know that this bush is in fact always a death trap? Here comes Mr. Stelio Penta, going to be killing off Toco Loco with a few more auto attacks and a spinning slash. However, he might be in some trouble himself right here. The heals from Soraka maybe going to keep him alive. He does have Undying Rage up, so he's going to be able to run away right here. The Ignite is ticking, though, as Soraka dies, and he falls over the sword, flying up into the sky and then impaling him through the chest. Tryndamere has one of the best death animations I've seen. And, whew, not really a worth trade for blue team, though maybe if they can get this kill. C10101 might have bit off a bit more than he could chew, though. He's under the tower. There's the slow. There's the damage. Double buffs going over to Mortifago. And you probably don't want to chase down the Urgot, but still, trade went pretty well in favor of red team, and Sage actually might want to chase down the Urgot. There's the flash forward. There's the Q. The slow from the, what is that item called? What is that item called? The Hextech Gunblade. The Hextech Gunblade, the slow from the Hextech Gunblade, giving Sage the edge that he needed to finish off that chase. Whew, sorry, so much talking all in quick, rapid succession because people don't stop fighting each other. makes me forget item names sometimes just because there's so much going on. How am I supposed to remember the name of an item? Do you remember the name of the item? You probably remember the name of the item. I'm sorry, I feel very silly about that. Bada boom, sitting on the other side of the wall, looking to maybe make some sort of steal happen here. Does get snared up by Morthago, but the dragon has been started by red team. Sage is tanking it up, but there's the teleport coming in from Tryndamere. I don't really know if they want to go for this fight. Bada boom, over the wall as well. And they're going to go ahead and take the dragon away from red team. Yeah, thanks for doing half the damage. We'll take it from here, folks. And the smite secure from Ram is going to be giving the dragon buff over to blue team. Meanwhile, however, 0-0 has roamed down here, and suddenly red team finds themselves in a 4v3 with them on the 4 side. Now it's a 4v2 because they killed off one of them, they killed off 2 of them. It is a murderous rampage here. Double kill for Tryndamere, though. He's cleaning up well, and he dashes over the wall. Might be able to escape here. Wizard of Elis chasing after him, and he has nowhere really to run. If you look at the minimap there, he decided to dash right into a turret, and so Wizard of Elis got the kill. Still though, traded 2 kills for 3 and a dragon. Just about worth it for blue team. I would have to say just on the edge of worth for them, though it is still a fairly close trade. It depends on which dragon stack that was, which I believe it was their second, so not quite as powerful because the second dragon stack is not the most powerful that there is, but the Chum the Waters lands onto Mose of Elise, and the damage from Fizz is obscene at this point. 0-0 might get a taste of it as well. Slowed down. There's the hyperkinetic position reverser. It slows them a bunch after you use it, by the way. Not only does it swap position, but it also suppresses them for a little while, swaps position with them, slows them, and also improves your own armor and magic resistance. So it makes you tankier, makes them weaker. It's a bit of an interesting spell, but Sage is going to be bringing down C10101 as Clicker turns his attention to Toko Loco. Now slowing him down with the shield up, slowing him down with the next shot, slowing him down with that shot, and the amount of consistent damage that an Urgot can put out just proves too much for this Vi. Killing spree for Clicker 1. Well played Urgot so far, which is not something I expected to be saying today, but hey, sometimes life surprises you and you get to see a well-played enemy crap god. Certainly not a unwelcome surprise. I do always enjoy seeing picks that aren't very common picked up and played. And speaking of the Urgot, while we have some quiet on the map here, we can look and see what exactly he's building into, because that's always a point of interest with champions that aren't very commonly played, to see what their build paths are, because you don't get to see them too often. So sometimes people can do very, very creative things. Right now, it seems like Clicker's going for what I guess you could call the standard Urgot build is. He's got a Black Cleaver, which is amazing for Urgot since his base values are very, very high, and he can spam out AD spells, which means he can get those stacks up very, very quickly. He can auto-attack and then hit Q, auto-hit Q, auto-hit Q, get those stacks up really, really fast. Badaboom getting chased away by 0-0, and while 0-0 is very sticky, Badaboom is also very, very good at escaping, and in that particular chase, it goes in favor of the Rammus. However, red team is grouping up as 4 here. Might be as 5 soon. Olaf has roamed from the top lane and is looking to try and help them out. This is Stelia Penta takes away the red buff, but might be in some trouble here. Dashes and does not make it over the wall, so despite Undying Rage, he's going to be dying. Ooh, that was pretty to watch. Nice star call from William V. Not incredibly flashy or really all that important even, but it gives quite a bit of health back to Soraka, and it's just satisfying to see all those little bananas fly back to Soraka. Toko Loco now, getting silenced up, getting Urgot ulted, getting taunted. This man drove right into the CC pain train, and from the back comes the double kill for C10101. Chases down the Karma for the triple, and that was disastrous for red team. That's going to be the ace going over to Fizz and the blue team. They're going to go ahead and push up the mid lane with that one. No reason not to, really. I mean, they don't have their 80 carry life, but the Lichbane Fizz is certainly going to be able to do some good damage to the turrets as well. And they've already got a minion wave pushing up that lane, so may as well go ahead and take advantage of that, get some good damage onto the turret there, maybe even bring themselves down a turret after picking up 5 kills. Only just now did 2 members of the other side respawn, so they might actually be able to take down the inhibitor turret as well. Those Lichbane procs are doing quite a bit of damage to the turret, as you can see right there. Oh, Kali has shown up though. Sage might be able to turn this one around. Actually gets burned down herself. Zonia's just about saving her life for a little bit longer. Dashes away to a minion. Oof, bit off a bit more than she could chew. Just about made it out of there. Slow from Soraka does stop Corgi from chasing. The Chum the Waters turns around and knocks back Vi. And Karma, as the silence pool snares up the Corky. Well done by C10101 and William V. And now William V is going to turn around the damage from C101 and bring down the Karma. Double kill for the Soraka. Can she get the triple? The bananas are coming out. There's the star call. Triple kill for the Soraka support. And validated right there. Always nice to play a support and, like, in the really late game get a triple or a quadra or something. Because at that point, it doesn't entirely matter who gets the kills. You already have your carries fed, and it's just nice to have your whole supporting for the whole game be validated by getting that sort of thing. But Mr. Steal Your Penta and Zero Zero and yet another battle of the right clicks. This might very well be the last battle of the right clicks of the game. The Minions! The Minions finish it off. Tryndamere picks up the ace as the rest of his team was busy killing off the rest of the enemy team. And that is going to be Tryndamere on the Nexus turrets, unless he chooses to back off. I am very surprised by the fact that he backed off there, though I suppose Karma and Corky did both just respawn, so he didn't want to go down. But anyways, doesn't matter that he didn't right-click on the Nexus turrets. That's going to be the victory going over to Blue Team. GG by both teams. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Hi there, guys. It's Octavian. Actually, recently, I try not to talk during these outros because there's supposed to be some sort of atmospheric thing and makes you want to click on the next video, yay. But I'd just like to say thank you to all the people who subscribed in the last few days. I mean, my YouTube channel is not exactly huge. I think at the last count I have somewhere in the range of 540, 544 subscribers, something like that. But honestly, while there are channels out there that can boast literally 100,000 times what I have, 500 people is insane to me. That is crazy. That is more people than I ever knew in high school. That's like my graduating class of high school people. So that many people subscribe to me and actually have voluntarily decided I want to see every video that this man makes, that's very, very touching to me. Thank you all. If you've made it this far into the video, and if you've enjoyed the videos, and if you are here listening to me talk. So, thank you very, very much. I will be seeing you tomorrow with the next video that I put out. Have a good one.